Date this afternoon as to what we know about the Covenant murders on yesterday. There's one rumor going on throughout the community that we want to take a moment to clear up. There are those who think that specific individuals were targeted by the shooter who entered the building on Monday. We have no evidence that individuals were specifically targeted. This school, this church building, was a target of the shooter, but we have no information at present to indicate that the shooter was specifically targeting any one of the 6 individuals who were murdered. Chief John Drake will now update you on the progress of the investigation overnight and this morning, including what we know about the individual's purchases of firearms over the past couple of years. Again, this will be a brief briefing today. Chief John Drake.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again for being here. Just a brief update of what we know right now. We've interviewed the parents of Audrey Hale, and we've determined that Audrey bought 7 firearms from 5 different local gun stores here legally. They were legally purchased. 3 of those weapons were used yesterday during this horrific tragedy that happened. We know that they felt that she had 1 weapon and that she sold it. She was under care, doctor's care, for an emotional disorder. Law enforcement knew nothing about the treatment she was receiving, but her parents felt that she should not own weapons. They were under the impression that when she sold the 1 weapon that she did not own anymore. As it turned out, she had been hiding several weapons within the house. We also don't have a motive at this time. We feel that the students that were targeted were randomly targeted. There was not any particular student that she was looking for at the time of the incident. And that's what we know as I speak, and we'll take any questions again.
Okay, here we go. First and foremost, one of the first things that I want to say about this is this. As parents, now we're going to get some flack or whatever the case may be, but as parents, how do you allow your child to have weapons in your house and you not know it? How do you allow that? So now I get you.
That's a good question.
So I get you when you say that your child had 1, and you knew and you said that your child had some emotional type damage as well, that the child was being treated for. But now you thought that the child only had 1 weapon.
She had 7.
But she had 7. So how do you not know about the other 6? So what am I saying? What I'm saying is as parents, let's make sure that we pay more attention to our children. That's the road that we're going down right now. Let's make sure that we interact with our children more. Let's make sure that we pay attention more to what they're doing.
I agree with that.
That's what we're talking about right now at this point. Because for me, I think that part of the issue was that they didn't actually know, because it sounded like to me like they were some pretty good parents. So, and it sounded like to me like they was trying to make sure that the baby got some help. And,
I agree.
You know, and it sounded like to me like this was a situation that they didn't know that the child had some other weapons, because had they known, then maybe or may not, they would have done something about it.
I agree.
But my thing is that parents, let's make sure that we know we got a child living in our house. Let's make sure that we know what's going on with them.
I'm gonna chime in real quick, and I'm gonna say this. This is just my little thought process and my little 2 cents for some parents. Preferably both of y'all, but one of y'all got to be nosy.
Facts.
See, I'm gonna keep it real. At my house, my wife knows it.
Facts.
Carrie going in your room, she'll go through your cell phone. My wife knows it.
She gonna look up under the bed.
Yeah,
she gonna look in the
come on now,
closet.
she wants to
She
know.
gonna check it all out.
My wife be wanting to know. She hear everything. She know everything. Look here, up in her household, she be knowing. Look, they think they be sneaking. They don't be sneaking. My wife know every single thing. So I'm just letting people know for parents. Preferably both of y'all. But one of y'all got to be nosy, like he said with these babies. Because see, if you the one to search the room and you the one searching through the house being nosy, like my wife, you'd have found them 6 other weapons. Because supposedly she had sold one. That's what they was under the impression. They said she shouldn't have a weapon and was trying to get her some help. Like Pop said, right? Okay, this is why I say you got to be nosy, parents. Get to snooping. My wife snoops. Look, my wife will snoop through my stuff, y'all. I ain't playing. You ain't gonna be up in Carrie's house hiding much. I swear for Lord, you ain't gonna be up in here hiding much. She gonna know it. And as parents, we got to know what's going on with our children. The next thing that we gonna get into later on in this video is that I'm gonna give me and Pop some time to think on it is, y'all, we got to do something. I'm sick of this coming on the news. I'm sick of people losing their children. I'm sick of innocent people losing their lives with these random shootings and these school shootings. Y'all, we got to do something to protect our kids. My God.
We gotta do better.
Got to do better.
So in the manifesto, there's several different writings about other locations. There were locations. There was talks about the school. There was a map of the school, a drawing of how potentially she would enter and the assaults that would take place. There's quite a bit of writing to it. I have not read the entire manifesto. Our team and the FBI has been working on this.
Chief, can you clarify where exactly the buildings were located? You mentioned the common area. Were we all together with the students and the adults at the same time? Where were they?
So they were spread out in different locations. When I went into the actual church, the kids had already been transported to the hospital. Also, the 2 of the adults, I did see the head school person, and she was in the hallway by the office. That's the only one. They were spread out. Wasn't in one common area, but they were spread out.
Chief, can you talk about the response in terms of targeting other buildings, other places?
There was some writings in the manifesto about other locations, but as far as it being an actual target, I can't confirm that at this time.
Chief, can we talk about your body cam footage? Do you feel like your officers did everything right?
I'm sorry.
Amber Walker with CNN, just about the 6 victims who were killed. Where exactly were they? Were they walking through the hallways when this happened? And I also,
I swear, didn't somebody just ask the same question while ago, Pop?
the head of the school may have ran.
Was the lady,
Yes,
was
yes,
the
she
lady
did.
from
Yes, she
CNN listening?
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
It's very possible the head of the school could have done that. I can't confirm that one way or the other. I do know she was in the hallway by herself. There was a confrontation, I'm sure. You can tell the way she was laying in the hallway. There was the custodian, the African American, as she shot through the door to enter. She sprayed rounds through the glass, striking him. You could see where he came to rest. As far as the others, they were just spread out in different locations.
Chief, you mentioned ammunition was there.
I can't say it was a confrontation, but they were met. She met the head person in the hallway.
This man right here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Chief, you mentioned the guns, the multiple guns, and that the shooter was under the care of a doctor. Is there any law in this state that would have allowed police to take those guns away from this person had it been reported?
If it had been reported, there's not a law for that, but had it been reported that she was suicidal or that she was going to kill someone and had been made known to us, then we would have tried to get those weapons. But as it stands, we had absolutely no idea actually who this person was, if she even existed. So.
Chief, can you talk a little bit about the time?
What else did the parents say? Did they expect anything like this to happen?
So we know yesterday the Ms. Hill was leaving out of the residence. She had a red bag. They asked her what was in the red bag, and I think she just dismissed it because it was a motherly thing, and didn't look in the bag because at the time she didn't know that her daughter had any weapons and didn't think any differently. Again, they lost a child, so it's very traumatic for them. So
Chief,
I think you were first.
Yeah.
So.
could you talk about the police response? I know they engaged the shooter pretty quickly once they got to the school, but can you talk about the events that led up from when they got the call, what time did they arrive at the school, and could you talk about that time?
I ain't got but a short statement to say before we answer this question. I seen part of the video when they went into school, and I want to shout out every last one of those officers, every last one of them men. They went in there to handle business. They was on point. They was in sync. They went in there to stop her from killing more kids. They was not playing with that young lady. They handled their business. Them is amazing men. They stepped up to the call. Unlike down there in Uvalde, they didn't sit around and put hand sanitizer on their hand and hang out in the hallway while people was in there killing babies. They went in there, they got to the threat, and they stopped the threat. I want to shout them cops out. They did their thing.
It appears about maybe like 14 minutes or so.
Yeah, so they got the call at 10:13, and by 10:24 they had engaged the suspect.
10
as they
minutes.
arrived on the property, there were police cars being hit by gunfire. The suspect was in an upper level. We believe there's been some training of being able to shoot from a higher level. And her gunfire, from the video I've seen, she stood away from the glass so she wouldn't be an easy target to be shot. But as officers were approaching the building, there was gunfire going on. They went in, they went through door by door as we clear buildings. They heard gunfire and immediately ran to that and then took care of this horrible situation.
And how long did it take officers to actually get to the school initially?
Okay, because we've got just a little bit more time, which this will probably be in video number 2. We'll continue this. But here's what I want to say real quick. I like how the officers, how they did their job, how they came in, how they responded. They responded extremely quick to the school shooting. You know, they got there and they, as you heard them say a minute ago, they got there and they handled business. So, you know, I just want to say, you know, shout out to the law enforcement for them to coming in and actually eliminating the threat, so that, as he said a minute ago, so that there are more and more kids did not actually lose their life. So, but once again, we talking about someone that we could tell that was a little bit disturbed, but let's not miss what you heard the officer say a second ago, which is,
I thought you was going to say that.
Is that this individual had some type of training. Mm-hmm. So here's what we got to remember and understand. This was something in my mind that it seems like to me, like they had planned, because they had a manifesto. So that means that they had actually had some things that was actually planned, because they knew how to shoot. She knew how to shoot from on high, because as the officer just stated, there was some police officers' cars that got hit when they was driving up. Yeah. So this individual knew how to shoot from on high, and also the individual stood back from the window. Okay,
so they wasn't an easy target.
So that the individual wasn't an easy target. So that's what we got to remember as well. So with the individual not being an easy target, that means that they had some training. We said that. I said that a second ago. But now think about it. Now for me with the manifesto, guess what? The individual might have been a little disturbed, but let's just be real. They trained and they really knew.
Yes,
they really knew. When I say they, she really knew what she was actually doing.
That's a fact. It's a fact.
So let's not sit around and try to make it sound like that the individual was not in their right mind.
Yeah, I felt
because
that.
For you to step back from the window, from you to shoot on high, high, you knew what you were doing.
I felt that, Pop. I felt that. Like you said, we're not going to give that mental as no scapegoat. Like he said, you took your time, you wrote a manifesto, you planned it, you had a map of the school, you went to training. Exactly what he just said. And as we end this part right here, part 1, before we come back with part 2, I want to say one thing. You got to be a horrible individual if you think you should just run up on innocent people and kids is my main thing. and take their lives. You are 28. If you feel like it's that bad, you take yourself out, but you leave our babies alone. I would say worse, but I don't want us to be getting flagged on YouTube. So I'm going to leave it at that for the end of part 1.